episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are diving into, I would say, one of those everyday topics that secretly shapes everything about our energy, our mood, and even our long term health. The way we run our kitchens, right? So, the listeners, like, think about it for a second. How many times have you had the best intentions to eat better, only to find yourselves reaching for the takeout or that quick snack that doesn't serve you? So we have all been there, right? But what if the key to lasting healthy eating wasn't another restrictive diet, but a simple, flexible shifts in how we set up and navigate our kitchens? Yep. To help us explore this, I am joined by the incredible Ini Isangedighi. So welcome to the show, Ini.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing, amazing. So, Ini, like before we start our conversation, I'd love to introduce you to all the listeners. So, dear listeners, Ini is also known as the Ninja Goddess,
Yes,
Naija Goddess, right?
the Naija Goddess. Yes.
Amazing. So, she is a board certified holistic nutritionist, herbalist, chef, entrepreneur, and the author of Nourish by Naija, flexible food prep that fits your life and feeds your health. So, through her work, she blends culinary expertise, science, and holistic healing to help people transform food from a daily stress into a daily source of empowerment. So, dear listeners, I'll not take much of your time. Let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Thanks so much.
Amazing. So Ini, you often say that the kitchen is where long-term health really begins. So why
Absolutely.
do you think? Yeah. So why do you think that the way we organize and uh, use our kitchens has such a direct impact on whether or not healthy eating sticks?
Well, first, food is medicine. And I feel like a lot of us have just gotten away from that. We're influenced by so many convenience foods and convenience living, especially out here in the United States. Everything is grab and go, fast food, throw in the microwave. And so the association of health and food being medicinal is getting further and further away from us. But knowing that the kitchen is the pharmacy, going to the farm and or growing your own fruits and vegetables and actually making real whole foods in your kitchen is your actual medicine cabinet. That's the root cause of everything. So that's why we want to start there with the foundation.
Mm. Wow. So, like, some might also argue that health is kind of more about willpower and discipline rather than the environment. So, what would you say to someone who thinks that a kitchen setup doesn't really matter?
I would say that that's a definite misnomer. A lot of people, go off track because they believe they're failures because of willpower, not knowing that they've been marketed to and propagandized for their fail, essentially. So when you have people that go to school to learn food chemistry and what's going to make the food more addictive, and it's not usually the healthy foods to make you keep buying it, so they have a customer for life when they know that once you get sick, they can give you a pill that you take for life. That I would like to have a business where I know I have a lifetime customer. So it's not necessarily willpower. The foods, in quotes, food products, because not even really real foods. So I like to come from a whole food, plant based perspective. Those are not being touted as what you should reach for. It's always reach for this pill, reach for this convenience item. So this is not about willpower. This is about learning, going back to what we used to do and having real food and preparing real foods and not get caught into the seduction of convenience, quick and easy. Because if you take a shortcut now, you'll have to pay for it later at some point.
Mm. Correct. So, I mean, I really love like how you frame it that environment is either helping us or sabotaging us without us realizing it. So it's almost like what is it, like setting up our kitchen is setting ourselves up for the success, because I mean before, yeah, I mean before we even touch a fork. So,
Exactly.
lovely. That's really lovely. And also would love to talk about your book, like I mean, the Nourish by the Naija Method. So, your book introduces the Nourish by Naija Method, um, so which is all about flexible food prep. So, could you
Yeah.
break down like what makes your approach different from the traditional meal prepping, which often feels kind of rigid or
Yes.
overwhelming?
Yes, so much to say to that. So yes, I created the Nourish by Naija method, and this is about flexibility. That's why the subtitle book is called Flexible Food Prep that fits your life and feeds your health. So the main thing is to have a health objective. If you feel like you're pretty healthy and you want to just maintain where you are, okay, we have something for that. If you want to lose weight, if you want to gain muscle, if you want to have blood sugar balance, we have all those
Mm,
approaches in there in terms of like your overall health objectives, because that's going to decide how much quantity of certain foods will be on your plate. So that's like the first premise. The second premise is, well, there's six pillars, but I'll
mm,
truncate that so it won't take so long. But it's very easy. The next thing is that it has to flow with the rhythm of your life. And so that's why I don't even call it meal prep, because that sounds like you're going to eat the same meal for 3 days, 5 days in a row, and you get tired of it, you throw it away, and then you get burnt out. It is food prep. So most people think when they have to prep food, they have to prep food for an entire week. You don't. You can prep food for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever is best for your life. And if this week is a cool week and you can prep for 5 days, great. And next week you're traveling, you can't, then you flex and flow with that, and you set yourself up for success rather than beating yourself down, because where most fad diets and most meal plans go awry is that the person feels burnt out or feel like a failure because they're following a very static plan, something that wasn't customized for their life and for their taste buds. And that's where the Nourish by Niger method is different, because this is about finding foods that you already love and incorporating them, because that's what's going to keep you going back to do it. That is, you're eating foods that you actually enjoy eating. You're not just tolerating it to reach some, to lose 10 pounds or something like that. This is about a lifestyle change. So this is why if you can't do 5 days in one week, that's okay that for that week. Next week, try to do 2 days. And so it's about what is going on with your life, what is your health objective, what does your family require, and build a structure around that that flows with you. So it's not going to always be the same, because you might prep all this food and you made a bunch of soups, but you want something bright and crispy and light, and you didn't prep
mm,
that, and then you don't want to eat that. So the Nourish by Niger method is customized to your lifestyle that fits what your health outcome is trying to be, and that's what makes it sustainable long term as a lifestyle change, not a quick fix.
mm. Correct. Exactly. So, so like, I mean, for the people, like, what to say, for the people who feel like they just don't have the time to plan ahead, how does your system make it feel doable instead of kind of like another core?
Absolutely. That's what we don't want. But at the end of the day, too, you still have to prioritize you and your health, because we make time for what we want. We do. And as a person, like I co-own the number one vegan restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have a health practice. I have one more year of medical school. My husband has two businesses that I help him run. So I just wrote a book. I'm on a book tour. So it's not like I have a lot of time myself. And I do
Mm,
food prep for lots of people through the restaurant. So, it's not about that, but I know if I don't prioritize my health, I won't have the energy and I won't be here to be able to help people. So the first thing is having the mindset shift of saying, I know I need to prioritize my health. It seems like I don't have enough time. So what time do I have? And so in the Nurse by Niger method, you take 15 minutes out your week, and I have a sheet, and you can do it digitally as well if you're more of a digital person. And you're gonna write down, okay, what non-starchy vegetables do I like or do I want to
mm,
try and incorporate? And you go through non-starchy veg, starchy veg, fruits,
mm,
fats, proteins, and you write those down. So that also turns into your grocery list. And you're gonna jot down what kind of recipes are you feeling? What kind of recipes do you normally gravitate towards? And write
mm,
those down. And then that way you already have what you're gonna kinda cook or prepare, what you're gonna buy at the grocery store or have Instacarted or whatever. And, that is a snapshot that gives you a plan for a week that can be flexible because you're not trying to follow, "Okay, I've gotta follow this recipe, I have to buy these specific ingredients."
Mm,
You can use what you already have in your kitchen because if you bought it, that means you already must like it, okay?
mm,
Hopefully. And then you're gonna just add to it. Most people don't eat enough fiber. They're not getting enough variety of colors and of fruits and veg. They're not getting enough of that soluble and insoluble fiber. So everyone most of the time can do better with that. So thinking about ways of how you can add more. It's not about what you're taking away. It's you want to do the start with the crowd out method. So it's not overwhelming. It's like, okay, whatever you're normally eating, let's add to it. Can we add some peppers to it? Can we add some broccoli? What else can we add to bolster this meal to make it
mm,
more nutritious for us? And that's the best place I find for my clients to start. It's like the crowd out method. So it's not saying start off with a feeling like you're restrictive or can't
mm.
have this and take this off. Okay, we'll start with that. But what can we add to the plate that you need to have on your plate that's not currently there often? And start to crowd out and start from that perspective. So that seems to work with a lot of people that aren't able to do an immediate about face and make an abrupt change for the better.
True. Lovely. Yep. So, I mean, definitely, it's such a refreshing perspective. Instead of locking people kind of in a strict routine, you are giving them the tools of, I mean, to pivot and adapt as well. So that
Exactly.
really feels
Without
a
guilt.
freedom. Exactly. And it's a freedom also.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and also like for the personal struggles, right? So you have shared that your passion for this work was born out of your own struggles with illness and obesity. So how did those personal experience shape uh, not just your career but your philosophy on food and healing?
Such a great question of that. So yes, I was almost 400 pounds. And a lot of times when you see really fat or obese people, people
Mm,
would assume that person just sit around and eats all day long. And
mm,
depending on what that person's health issue is, it's quite the contrary. I didn't eat that much. I didn't even have an appetite like that because I was sleeping all the time. I had no energy whatsoever. And I never knew that what you eat could literally radically change your life. So
mm,
I was started gaining a lot of weight in my early 20s.
mm.
And initially, when I went to the doctor, they told me, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine." And I kept saying, "But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't feel good. I don't have energy." And then a couple months later, I went back when I felt even worse. And then they're like, "Oh,
Mm,
you have everything wrong with you. You have diabetes, you have high cholesterol, you have PCOS, you have fibroids, you have a goiter, you have my skin was terrible, my hair was terrible, everything was terrible." All seemingly in just a short span of 6 months when I hadn't changed anything. Already said I felt like crap.
mm,
No one ever said radically change what you do consume, radically change make sure you're actually nourishing your body, getting the actual
mm.
minerals and vitamins and fiber that your body needs so that it can do what it needs to do to help you. No one ever said that. They said, well, we'll give you these pills when you turn 35, we'll give you a hysterectomy and you'll be fine. And I said, so I'm supposed to wait for another 12, 15 years, like, and suffer? And I did for a while, a little 10 years until I watched the documentary of Beck, and it changed my life. So, and I didn't do it for the weight loss or anything because I thought I had to live with that for the rest of my life. When I did that just to see if I would get energy, I saw that every disease and thing I just mentioned completely went away.
Yeah,
Not like reduced, but completely went away. And that's when I left I was a senior executive in corporate America. I had gone to MIT. I was a big shot in the corporate America world. I totally left that and made it my mission and loving duty to put this information out there so
mm,
people would not needlessly suffer for the decades that I did, just by not having this information or this information being clouded and with mistrust and doubt that's out there. I want to be a living example of what you eat truly is medicinal. You really can change your life. And let me show you the way because I'm living proof of it.
mm. Exactly. And for someone who is listening right now who wants to start making healthy eating stick but feels overwhelmed, then What are the three simple shifts they could make in their kitchen this week to see a real difference?
The first thing I would say is stock your kitchen zones with healthy things because in your house, if it's in your house, you'll eat it. So if you have candies and
Mhm.
cakes and pies in your house, you tend to grab for it. But if the kitchen zones, you have 4 kitchen zones in your house. You have the refrigerator, the freezer, the pantry, and the countertop. If in those
Mm.
4 places you start to add healthy go-tos that you actually like or can stomach. So that way, instead of grabbing for whatever your vice of choice is, you grab, an orange, an apple instead or a healthier type of snack. That's a good starting point because it's not overwhelming. It's like, okay, I didn't reach for again insert vice of choice. I'm going to go for the a healthier version of that, or I'm going to go for a fruit or a veggie. So starting with that helps because then you can still eat all the stuff you're still eating because it's the crowd out method. This is just starting to change those healthy habits. The second thing I would say is to be kind to yourself. People really beat themselves up when they're trying to do better and they get off track or a friend or family comes over and they
Mm.
bring stuff and then you feel obligated. What I say to yourself, this is a lifestyle. This is not, no one's going to take you to jail. Okay. So you want to be kind to yourself. Just focus on doing the best you can. And if you fall off, get right back on. But having the knowledge to know how to get back on properly is going to carry you further the next time. So I would say that for number two, to be kind to yourself. And then for number three,
Exactly.
I would say just start with one dish, one meal a day that's fully plant-based and healthy. And the easiest way to do that is like in the morning for breakfast to have a breakfast smoothie. Um, where you can have all your fiber, your antioxidant rich berries and things.
Mm.
Just start by trying to have one dish a day or adding one salad a day. Keep everything else you're doing the same, but just start with that one thing a day that you know is very healthy, that you know you want to incorporate more of, and start there. And then you'll feel the difference, and then you'll start to do it more because at least you made one first step. And that's where people fall off. They start off trying to do everything all at once, and it gets overwhelming because they don't have the tools or the practice
Yeah.
to keep it up. And then they feel like, oh, forget it. And they beat themselves up.
Yes.
So that's why number two, being kind to yourself, and number one, stocking your kitchen zones with healthy alternatives will help with number three. But just one meal a day, add something that you know will add
Mm.
wholesome nutrition to your day so you can start to feel the difference immediately.
Exactly. Exactly true. Lovely. Annie, I mean, this has been such a rich and practical conversation. And I would say, like, you have shown us that eating well doesn't have to mean giving up joy, flavor, or flexibility. It's really about making smart, supportive shifts in how we set up our kitchens and uh, approach the food every day. So that's amazing.
Absolutely.
And dear listeners, if you have been struggling to make healthy eating stick, then this episode is your reminder that you don't have to overhaul your life overnight. So start with your kitchen, start with one shift, and watch like how those little steps ripple out into big changes. So, any if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium to connect?
That's a great question, Avek. So you can follow me on YouTube on my YouTube channel, The Naija Goddess. I put out
Mhm.
regular content that teaches you how to prepare these meals and the nutrition science behind it. So everything's evidence based. You can, and I'm the Naija Goddess on all social media platforms. But also you can get the book Nourished by Naija, Flexible Food Prep that fits your life and feeds your health on Amazon. So I have it as hardback and digital download. So that way you can take some of the principles we talked about today, see the full textbook for yourself, and begin to incorporate it into your daily life.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, I'll put all the links into the show notes for easy reference so that you can easily reach out to any. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. Until next time, remember that your health is not built in grand gestures, but in the small, everyday choices that you repeat with love and intention. So, thank you so much.